The only thing I ever want to hear about a comet that's approximately the size of Manhattan is that it won't be coming anywhere close to Earth. And yes, I get it. The term close is relative, especially in space. But this rock in question is headed our way. It's called 3I Atlas, and it is set to get as close as 167 million miles away from Earth by December 19th. That is 6 weeks from tonight. So what's the big deal exactly? The big deal is that not everybody's convinced it's a comet. And now you've got my attention. A Harvard astrophysicist named Avi Loeb has pored over the latest images and was struck by the, quote, non-gravitational acceleration of 3I Atlas.
So at this point, there's worldwide interest in this thing, and NASA still hasn't released the photos. How is that possible?
Well, either NASA is not functional, or there is a reason for that. And it's really unfortunate because that should have been the sharpest image we've got of this object with a pixel resolution of 30 kilometers. It was taken on October 2nd, 2025, and here we are, haven't seen it yet. The best picture we have so far is from the Hubble Space Telescope, 3 times worse in resolution. And what we noticed from the Hubble Space Telescope is there is a glow extending from the object towards the sun. This was confirmed in an image that was released just yesterday from a ground-based telescope. And it's very puzzling because this extension of the object towards the sun is 10 times longer than it is wide. 3I Atlas shows 10 anomalies. The first one that I pointed out just a few days after it was discovered is that it's very big. It's at least 33 billion tons based on the fact that it didn't change course, even though it lost mass during its journey. And that means 5 kilometers in diameter. This is 1 million times more mass than the first interstellar object. And we are talking about the third. Mm-hmm. So how come we haven't seen 1 million small ones before we see a big one? In fact, I did a calculation that there is not enough rocky material in interstellar space to deliver such a giant object into the inner solar system over the past decade. We would expect it once per 10,000 years or longer. So that raises the possibility that maybe it has nothing to do with the reservoir of rocky material in interstellar space.
It moved faster than gravity could explain. It also looked oddly blue, when in past observations it was red and then green.
We shouldn't assume we know the answer about its nature in advance. It's a blind date of interstellar proportions. And most recently, as you pointed out, it actually showed some non-gravitational acceleration. There was some propulsion that moved it away from its original trajectory. And I would have expected that it would lose 10 to 20% of its mass as a result of the recoil from that mass loss. And we don't see any cometary tail around it in recent days after it passed closest to the sun on October 29th. So all of these are anomalies. There are 10 of them. I didn't list all of them. And that's what makes me ask the question, is this technological in origin? Because when you have a visitor to your backyard, you better know its nature. Otherwise, it might show up at your front door. And we can't afford to just adopt the most likely interpretation, which is that it's a natural object.
I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Do you think it's suspicious that NASA hasn't made an effort to put these photos out there?
It's strange because the principal investigator of this camera called HiRISE on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is not affiliated with NASA. He is at the University of Arizona, and obviously they can still analyze the data and release it scientifically. There is no need for a press release. The European Space Agency already released their data, which was much worse quality. Because, you know, that's the way things are in science. You make the data available to other scientists so they can look into it.
Okay, so ESA, what you're saying, ESA, the European Space Agency, they released the images that we're now showing you, but NASA has not, and NASA's got their hands on the best imagery of whatever this thing is. So, Dr. Loeb, you get the conspiracy theory that's now developing. If this thing is a comet, maybe NASA, or if this thing is an alien spacecraft, maybe NASA is deliberately covering that up by not releasing those photos. You see that, right?
Well, that's one possibility. It's also possible they're not competent or they don't want to do the work while they are in shutdown. I'm not sure what the actual reason is, but we should be guided by data, and I very much look forward to them releasing it so we can analyze it, because the previous data was already very anomalous. There are 8 anomalies of this object that we cannot fully understand. And, if it happens not to be a comet, but something else, we should know about it. The White House should know about it.
Yeah, we should all know about it. Has the White House been briefed to your knowledge?
Not that I know of, but I did brief the Congress people, and I really hope that President Trump knows everything there is to know about this object.
And just quickly, if it does swing around the sun and starts heading toward Earth, that will confirm that this is intelligent life and intelligently controlled. What do we do then?
We don't have a protocol, and there should be some kind of an organization that looks into interstellar objects of this type, because it's a threat to the future of humanity. It could be a black swan event with a low probability but huge implications, and so far such a threat was not attended to, politically speaking. And I do believe that we should examine all the facts and decide without any assumptions about the nature of this object.
Yeah, and this thing could land on Earth in early 2026. Is that accurate, if it wanted to?
It could, yeah. It could do a maneuver when it's closest to the sun. It could release probes that will visit us. And it's just like some visitor in our backyard that could enter through the front door, and you want to figure out what the intent is. And this object came closest to the sun on October 29th. It actually exhibited non-gravitational acceleration.
What does that what does that mean, non-gravitational acceleration?
It means that there was a deviation from a trajectory that we expected based on gravity alone. And so for a comet, it means the comet must lose a substantial fraction of its mass in order to get a recoil from the rocket effect. And that means a massive cloud of gas weighing more than 5 billion tons around it after it passed closest to the sun. And in fact, there were first images that were obtained over the past few days. They do not show a distinct cometary tail that would be a natural consequence of having such a cloud of gas and dust. So what I'm trying to explain is the truth is in the details, not in big statements made by commentators. Why would this massive interstellar object arrive so that it comes close to Mars, Venus, and then Jupiter with a very small likelihood?
Please like and subscribe.